SilkMeter, installation and setup for evaluation extensions. What we'll cover in this video is where to download SilkMeter from the Microfocus Borland support site, how to import the policy file, and how to configure your Silk product to use the new policy file. So let's start with where to get SilkMeter. This is the address you go to, www.borland.com/downloads/lservers/silkmeter/index.htm. It'll bring you to this site where you'll find things such as the SilkMeter installation package as well as the release notes. Download SilkMeter 2008 to your local desktop and run the installation. Once you've run the installation, you're ready to import the policy file. Your account executive should have emailed you a policy file with your evaluation extension. We're going to use the SilkMeter Policy Administrator to actually import that file. Once you've installed SilkMeter, go to your Start menu, Programs, Borland or Microfocus, SilkMeter, and choose the Policy Administrator. If you have other licenses or evaluation extensions, they will show up in this list. It may be empty if you've just installed this. The next step is to actually find the policy file that you received, so make sure you've installed it on your local machine where you can find it. You import the policy by choosing the first button on the toolbar and navigating to the location where you saved it. So in this example, I'm actually going to import a Silk Test policy file, but the same steps apply whether it's Silk Test, Silk Performer, or Silk Central Test Manager. Locate the policy file and select it. You should receive a message indicating that it was imported successfully. Just choose OK, and you should now see it in your list of available applications. Here you can see at the bottom where I've imported my new Silk Test license. There are actually 4 pieces to Silk Test: Silk Test GUI, Agent, Open Agent, and the runtime. You can select any one of these and on the right see details about that particular policy file. So for example, you can see when it will expire, what version it applies to, and if it will work for older versions. So now we've imported the policy file and it's available to be used by your Silk tools. The final step is to actually configure your Silk product to switch to this policy file rather than the one that was automatically installed under the covers when you first downloaded your trial. Now this step will vary a little bit depending on which product you've chosen. In this case I'm doing Silk Test. I'm going to go to my Start menu, Program Files, Borland, Silk Test. This is where the deviation will be. If you're installing an extension for Silk Performer or Silk Central, you'll choose those accordingly. Then once inside that product, you'll come to Administration Tools, no matter which product you're in, and choose Change Your License Server Configuration. At this point, you want to make sure your application shows up in the list. Choose the radio button that says Using Local or Remote Server. Put in your license server host name. So by these instructions, since this is an evaluation, you installed SilkMeter on your local desktop, you'll just put in your machine name. Take the default port number that SilkMeter uses, which is 5461, and first choose to test the connection. You'll see a status window at the bottom of this dialog, and it will indicate whether or not you've successfully connected to SilkMeter. Once you get a success, you can say Apply and close. If you're doing an extension for Silk Test or Silk Performer, if you happen to have the product open, you may want to close and reopen the product so that the changes take effect. If this is an update to Silk Central, it's recommended that you stop and restart the Silk Central services. You can do this either by accessing them through the Start menu, the program files, or you can see them in your tray near your clock Silk Central Service Manager. You can reopen this and see each individual service, and you can stop and restart them. You can also right-click over the Service Manager and say Stop All Services, and then Start All Services and log back in. Now your Silk product is configured to use your new license policy, and everything should be working. Thank you.